So guys, this week in gaming has been probably one of the weirdest ones in a very long time. We saw how Valve, they fumbled the ball big time and released what appears to be a very weak machine for an extraordinary large sums of money, and who in their right mind is going to pay for something like that? And then we saw with the digital only code in a box when it comes to Grand Theft Auto 6 pre-sales. And remember, when you go to Sony's PlayStation Store.com and also their official Rockstar Take-Two GTA 6 listing on their website, it is listed as a single player experience. And now people are assuming and they're projecting and they're theorizing that it could be, $80 for the standard edition and $100 for the ultimate edition, but just for the single player component alone, not including the multiplayer component. So this presents a big problem in the sense that now, not only, remember, the standard edition compared to the ultimate edition, there's a lot of in-game perks that is locked away behind a $20 paywall. So this is how it starts, okay? Remember, you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. And so if they are now, you're ordering games a la carte, oh yes, give me this and give me that, and I'll pay more for this and I'll pay more for that. And when it comes to multiplayer, oh well, I'm okay with you charging me $29.99 for the multiplayer component. So what they're doing is, Take-Two, of course, is pressuring Rockstar, and Rockstar is making the executive decision. Well, the other way around, actually. Strauss Zelnick, King Daddy over at Take-Two Entertainment, he's making the executive decision and is deciding on, because he just wants to make the investors happy. So when they're now selling games a la carte, this opens a question as to who is going to follow. And so remember, Nintendo started this whole trend of $80 games with their Marios. And then now, you have Take-Two with Rockstar taking advantage of the power of the Grand Theft Auto IP and legacy, and they're going to now charge us $80 for the standard with missing content and $100 for the ultimate edition. So can you imagine if Rockstar has the balls to sell us the online multiplayer component later on down the road in 2027 for an extra $20, $25, or $30, you can bet your ass that a lot of people are going to line up and start paying for this. And so this is going to set a dangerous precedent to where Activision is going to look at this via Microsoft and say, well, the biggest title on Microsoft is Call of Duty, so we're going to do the same thing too. And that sets a dangerous precedent. And then now we're learning that PlayStation is deleting 551 movies from your account if you ordered any or bought any movies from Studio Canal's titles, which include Terminator 2, Shaun of the Dead, and Patagon, and many, many more movies. So could you just imagine, dudes? Like, this is why I canceled my Spotify subscription last year. And yes, it's only $15 a month, but it's the principle. And so I bought a 5th generation iPod from, who knows, like whenever that came out, like over 20 years ago, and it's the 30 gig version. And I'm going to be doing like a battery upgrade and an iFlash-It card, like little PCB that connects. It's all plug and play. It's very easy, and you can read up to a terabyte of music with the storage that is included from the aftermarket mods that you're doing. And dude, I couldn't be happier, dude. I'm like away from algorithms. I am away from anything that, is serviceable towards me, because all they're doing, Apple Music, Google Play Music, the YouTube Music app, the Spotify, the only thing they're offering you is convenience. That's it. It's because now they're making it to where, oh my God, you're lazy if you want to connect your iPod to your MacBook or to your PC and then launch iTunes and then sync your music that way. Like, they're removing all user accountability, like user end accountability, and they want to make you a slave. They want to make you a subscription slave, to where now there's an average of anywhere from $750 to $1,000 a year that people are paying for subscription services. And this is just way too much, bro. So, we are now a nation of debt, and debt rules our lives. And now they're moving into the gaming space, and they're trying it out with Grand Theft Auto 6. And mark my words, this is going to be the beginning of something very, very scary moving forward as far as gaming is concerned. And then Famitsu.com just dropped an exclusive interview with the president of Sony Interactive Entertainment, Hideaki Nishino, and he is actually doubling down. He said that Sony is now doubling down on live services. And because you have to understand, dude, that when you go look at previous sales for all exclusive exclusive titles, I'm talking about first party exclusive titles for the PS3, well, all the way dating back from the PS1, guys. So grab your favorite LLM, Gemini, Grok, ChatGPT, whoever, and tell them to spit you out all the exclusive first party titles. And as far as sales are concerned, probably the biggest one in the last several years was the original Spider-Man title for the PS4, and that was 33 million units. But ever since then, they've been going down and down and down. And the worst performing title in recent years is that new game Sorrows, which sold less than 500,000 copies. So you have to understand that these consoles, the PS5, the Xbox, and even Nintendo Switch, which actually some sale numbers just came out, and the Nintendo Switch is actually doing really good. And even though gaming hardware went up 38% from last May of 2025, the only reason why they did so was because of the raising prices of the hardware. And if it wasn't for that, like, oh my god, these like consoles are such in the gutter. And everybody talks about how like, oh, we need to see like a gaming crash, an industry crash. Guys, it's happening now. The only reason why it's not happening so in your face like it did back in 83, 84 with the Atari 2600 and the ET phone home game that actually sparked that crash is because they're raising the prices on the hardware. And it has nothing to do, bro. It's got nothing to do with RAM prices, because both Microsoft and Sony and even Nintendo to a greater extent, they have the power, they have the manufacturing, leverage to buy all these components at bulk, because they've been doing this for like decades now, right? And this is why I'm criticizing Valve, because they have no business releasing what they just did with that Steam machine. It's such an embarrassment, dude. And they're actually literally buying RAM off the shelf. And a couple of years ago, all the major AI companies sent all of their employees to Best Buy. They sent them to Best Buy. They sent them to like all these retail shops to literally buy RAM off the shelf. And that's what sparked the RAM bulk and the RAM outrage of 2025 and moving forward. And so Valve could have easily sent a bunch of their employees to do the same, but they didn't. So now literally when you order a Steam machine, they're probably buying RAM just like you and I are buying RAM. And it's such an embarrassment. It's such a flop, right? And so to go back to this interview with Hideaki Nishino, he's literally doubling down on going in with live services. And the reason why I mentioned that is because first party titles aren't selling anymore. And it's all this live service. They want their Fortnite so bad. They want their Roblox so bad, and they're not finding it. And you have all these studio closures from both Xbox on the Xbox side and on the PlayStation side. Like, look what's happening to Bungie. Today they let go of like 400 employees because there's that, well, I don't want to go into the whole woke nonsense, because it's like either side, they never get anything done and they both clash in the middle. But yes, the majority of games outside of the United States is games. That's why Korea and Japan and Capcom and Chinese developers are seeing massive sales for their games. And also in this interview, he talked about how they're selling, ready for this, a region locked and language locked for the Japanese market of the PS5 for $350, dude, which is cheaper than the Switch 2. And what they want to do is that he wants to revitalize the PlayStation brand and name and IP and actually console, and just boost sales for their local and homegrown market. So we'll see how that pans out. But all in all, guys, I'm like really happy playing my own games, like going back to my catalog, my library. I have now 560 titles in my Steam library. And not only that, I'm also playing RPCS3. I'm playing the PlayStation 2 emulator. I'm going back to the old Ratchet and Clanks. I'm going back to the older Uncharted, even though I can't get Uncharted 2 to run properly. And speaking of that, there's this entire new recompilation for those of you who don't know, and it's like really blowing up with both the recompilation for the PS3 and for the Xbox 360, and we're talking about native ports, not emulation. So RCPS3 or RPCS3. I always get the acronyms. It's RPCS3. They've done a Herculeic and gargantuan effort in bringing us close to 70% of the PS3's library, and most of them are playable with trophies and everything. And it's an exciting time to be emulating games. And the same thing goes for the PS2 emulator. But the whole recomp scene is, you're talking about exclusive exclusive to the PC, meaning that they're not emulating the game. They're actually emulating on the fly, but rewriting it in C and C++. And you're talking about like extreme performance, close to native PC performance, widescreen support. You have mod support. You have a support for like, native controls on the PC. And dude, it is just an exciting time to be playing on PC. I mean, you can't go wrong. And so what the Steam Machine has showed us and has proved so far in the week of this weird week in gaming is how you can build your own machine for less than what Valve is charging you, right? That could perform way better than the Steam Machine. So I don't know, it's just a weird time to be gaming, guys. Leave a comment, rate, subscribe, do the thing, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.